Welcome to Counter Reports in WorldShare License Manager. Counting online usage of networked electronic resources or Counter are statistics reports from Counter-compliant vendors that you can gather in License Manager. The first step for setting up your Counter reports is configuring your vendors in the system. Your vendor must be a Counter-compliant vendor. Let's see how you can configure your vendors in WorldShare License Manager. To configure your vendor, first you need to find your Counter-compliant vendor in the system. Log into your WorldShare account and click the Licenses tab on the top menu. Then on the left side panel, click the Usage Data accordion. Enter the search term for your Counter-compliant vendor, then click Search. If you don't find your vendor, you can request your vendor to be added. Click My Requested Vendors tab, then click the Request a Vendor button on the top. Complete the form, then click Save button located on the top. You will be able to track your request status under the My Requested Vendors tab. But remember, your vendor must be Counter-compliant to be approved. For example, let's start to configure a Counter-compliant vendor by first searching for it on the left panel under Usage Data accordion, and entering the search term using the part of the vendor's name, then clicking Search button. Identify your vendor on the result list or use the filter options above. After you find your vendor, click the Configure Vendor button located on the right side. Enter your credentials with your vendor. This is the information you have to access your vendor's Counter server. Usually an email address or username and your ID number with your vendor. Then click the Save button located on the top. Refer to help.oclc.org for a list of requirements from each vendor. Once your vendor is configured in the system, you will be able to search for it and either edit the information or delete the configuration. Another option under My Aggregators tab is if your library is Journal Usage Statistic Portal enabled, or then you can harvest Counter 5 usage statistics from JUSP platform directly here in License Manager. You can configure JUSP Aggregator under My Aggregators tab. You can get to this tab either searching for a vendor or leaving the search term field in blank and clicking Search button. Then on the result page under Actions column, click drop-down arrow next to Actions button and select Configure to enter your credentials with JUSP. After you have configured your vendors, then you can establish how you want to harvest your reports. Let's see how you can set up to harvest Counter usage reports. There are several types of Counter usage reports under the categories of Journal, Collection, Platform, Book, Multimedia, Title, and Item reports. WorldShare License Manager supports certain Counter reports in a variety of categories as listed. Refer to help.oclc.org for an updated list of reports currently supported in License Manager. You have two options for the reports. One-time harvesting, for Counter files that have been downloaded manually from a vendor's website, or reports transferred from configured vendors. Recurring harvesting, you schedule once, then harvest reports ongoing basis. Once a harvest is scheduled for a configured vendor, it can be accessed through the Harvest History screen. To set up one-time harvesting, log into WorldShare and click the Licenses tab. Then on the left side panel, click Usage Data accordion. Then click Harvest Setup button. Under the One-Time Harvesting tab, select the source for your report. If you are transferring files from a configured JUSP aggregator, or transferring a file that you have downloaded manually from a vendor's website and saved in your computer, or if you are transferring a file directly from the configured vendor. If transferring file from your computer, then under One-Time Harvest tab, select Report Sources Manual, then search for the vendor that published the Counter report by entering its name on the search box under Vendor Name field and selecting it. Then choose the Counter type and use the drop-down arrow next to Format field to select the supported file format for your vendor. Then click Choose File button to upload your file and have it validated. If transferring file from a configured vendor, under One-Time Harvest tab select Report Source as Counter Transfer Report File from Configured Vendor. Then search for your vendor and select it under Vendor Name field. Then select the counter type, if multiple options are offered. Then select your report type. You can select multiple types at a time. Next, use the calendar icon to enter the start date and end date. Then click Save button located on the top to save your selections. You set up Recurring Harvest under the Recurring Harvest tab. Select your report source either from aggregator or configured vendor. Then search for the aggregator or vendor name to select it. Select the report type you want to generate from the list of supported reports for this vendor. You can choose multiple types of reports. Choose the start date clicking the calendar icon next to the respective field, and select the status of report, active or inactive. Then click Save button located on the top to save your selections. Your reports will be generated monthly, starting on day 15 of each month. When you want to retrieve your one-time harvesting and recurring harvesting reports, log into your WorldShare account, click the Licenses tab, and on the left side panel click Usage Data option, then click the Harvest History button. You will be able to filter your reports using the filter options on the top. In this example, I filtered by harvest type to be counter and result counts to be success. Then I clicked View Details button under Action column for Allen Press Counter 5 to see the results. Here I have listed all the recurring Counter 5 harvesting with success for this vendor. You have options to filter this result on the top menu. Under Results column on the right, you find the links to the original file and the transformed data in XML or CSV formats. You can perform bulk actions where you have the option to select several reports by checking the box next to each one and selecting the desired action at Harvest History Actions on the top. Delete Harvest, combine into single CSV file, extend delete date by 1 year. This is the CSV file of a single Counter 5 TRJ1 report from the vendor used in this example. You can check the summary of your harvests on the left panel under Usage Data Accordion, then Harvest Summary button. Select Counter Type, Report Type, Report Date Range, and Metric Type. Then click Generate Harvest Totals button to see the results. System will notify that your report is being generated. Another option under Harvest Summary is to check report coverage. Select Counter Type, Report Type, Date Range, and Metric Type. Then click View Report Coverage button. The summary will list the reports that are completed and the ones missing. You can click the missing link to request any missing report. You can contact OCLC support, find documentation and more training materials at help.oclc.org. Thanks for watching.